With AI being so useful and so commonplace, it's tempting to use it to help you write college application essays, thinking that no one will know the difference. However, an AI-written essay is obvious, and for most native English speakers, one glance is all they need to tell whether an essay has been written by AI. If you're unsure though, this video is for you, as we'll be breaking down exactly what makes an essay AI and non-human. Hi, my name is Zoe, and I'm a native English speaker, university applications essay editor, and consultant. Over the past 6 years, I've corrected and reviewed over 3,000 university application essays, which, sadly, over the past couple of years, have become increasingly AI-like or AI-generated. I'm also the founder of Xena International Education, an educational platform dedicated to helping students achieve their university dreams. So, if you have an AI-generated essay that you would like rewritten or reviewed, feel free to contact us or visit www.xenainternationaleducation.com/collegeapp.php to find out more. Anyway, let's get right into it. Now, before we talk about what makes an essay AI-like, I just want to say a few words about why this topic is so important and why you should not be using AI to write your essays. Yes, AI is extremely useful, and I myself use it to help me organize and sort through data, manage schedules. It's very useful, and you can use it as a friend to help you check through things like grammar, interpret meaning, ask for clarification, but you should not be using it to help you write your essays. Why? First of all, although admission officers will not be putting your essay through AI detectors, which in my experience are highly inaccurate and unreliable, it is very easy to tell when an essay has been written by AI, and we'll go through shortly why. And why is it so important that your essay isn't detected as being AI? Well, first of all, there are some universities that do explicitly state that you're not allowed to use AI to write your personal statements. And even if there hasn't been an explicit rule stating that you can't write your essay using AI, knowing that a student has used AI to write the essay immediately creates a sort of negative impression for admission officers about what type of student you might be in the future. So you don't want to be seen as the lazy student who just looks for the easy way out and uses AI in all their assignments, which universities are definitely very strict about. And even if AI is allowed by the university, I can guarantee you that an AI-written essay will not be very strong and will not showcase the voice and the authenticity that admission officers are looking for in university application essays, which is what we're going to now as we discuss what makes an essay AI. First of all, one of the most obvious ways to tell when an essay has been written by AI is to look at the logic and structure of the overall essay. One of the major problems with AI-written essays is that they almost always have some sort of logical flaw. So, what logical flaws am I referring to? Well, first of all, in AI-written essays, there's very little or even no logical connection between sentences and between paragraphs. So you'll have two sentences, one after each other, that suddenly jump into different ideas. They won't follow logically from each other. So for example, this is the start of an AI-generated paragraph. Numbers are the foundation for understanding the universe. During my undergraduate studies, I majored in mathematics. See how although these sentences seem related, they don't follow on from each other, or they don't connect logically. And that's what a lot of AI essays do. They have these two sentences that sound similar and sound related, but actually aren't logically connected at all. Another logical flaw of AI-written essays is that they'll often get the timeline or the order of events wrong. So if you're inputting in your experiences and telling the AI to generate an essay based on these experiences, it won't know whether you actually completed these experiences in order or the relative timeline between these experiences. It's also something that I find that a lot of students don't check. So when admission officers cross-check with your CV or think about what's realistically possible in a certain time frame, it seems a bit off and will immediately be a red flag. Additionally, AI-written essays are also extremely repetitive. AI loves repeating the same ideas and things over and over again in slightly different wording. So although it seems like a lot of words are being used, there's actually nothing new being said. So for example, this is something that AI has generated. Although the numbers clearly indicated that one manufacturing option was better, the managers went with another to mitigate risk. While the data showed that cost favored one particular choice, the firm decided to still go for the less risky one. Essentially, Both of these sentences are saying the same thing, but in different ways, which AI does a lot of in essays. So it seems like it's saying a lot of good details, but actually the idea is the same, the meaning is the same. It's using a lot of words to say the same thing. And that's very AI-like. In terms of content, there's also a lack of specificity in AI-written essays, with it lacking the depth and the specific details that only you would be able to provide, and the admission officers are actually looking for. Even with the previous sentence, although the numbers clearly indicated that one manufacturing option is better, my manager went with another to mitigate risk. As you can see, it's very general, with no actual detail about the specific manufacturing option and what risk was actually being mitigated. These all lead to very weak, general essays that don't improve your admission chances. Another risk and characteristic of AI essays is that oftentimes the AI response that is being generated won't completely answer the prompt or questions that you're given, or that they don't answer with the nuanced understanding and the detail of a human thoroughly analyzing the prompt. Oftentimes, AI-generated outputs will be very general and only address some parts of the prompt, not the whole thing. And it's also not uncommon that the AI software may actually end up misinterpreting the prompt, which, again, negatively impacts your application essay. Looking more closely at the writing itself, though, AI also has some very characteristic sentence outputs. And if you've read through enough AI-generated essays or tried generating enough essays yourself, you'll soon notice that AI loves to use what I call parallel sentences, or sentences where the same idea is repeated and rephrased twice in a sentence. So for example, this is an AI sentence. It is here I will learn not only to build organizations but to sustain them, not only to respond to challenges but to shape them. Although it sounds like a very strong sentence, you can see how not only is repeated twice, and how both phrases in the sentence are saying the same thing. That's very characteristic of AI and is very unnatural. Additionally, I'm a bit sad to see that AI has turned what was once a very powerful and vivid imagery technique into an AI phrasal grouping, and that is the power of three, where AI loves to mention adjectives and descriptions and items in groups of three. So for example, my experiences have given me agility, creativity, and awareness. Yes, groupings of three can be very human and can be human written and are very useful in personal writing, but doing so too often in more formal graduate personal statements and in the wrong place are often a sign that the essay has been written by AI. In personal statements as well, something that I've seen in most AI essays is the use of repeated questions. Yes, sometimes asking one or maybe two questions is fine in personal statement, but when you start seeing 2, 3, 4, even 5 questions, one after another in a personal statement, followed by something like, these are the questions that I want to answer in my postgraduate studies, I can pretty much guarantee you that the essay has been written by AI, as people don't write in that way for postgraduate studies. So for example, this is an AI-generated paragraph that I once saw. I am drawn to questions like, do policies unintentionally discourage innovation of those big medtech companies? How can mechanism design be used to make the system more efficient, like heart transplants and blood donation programs? How can auction theory be used to increase consumer welfare, like centralized procurement drugs? And how can nudges be used to make patients happier without increasing the medical cost? Asking these questions is also really meaningless and tells admission officers nothing about you or your interest. So do not do this in your essay. And when you start seeing these complete lists of questions, it points to AI and should be removed immediately. AI also tends to use sentences of similar length and of repeated structure. Now, moving on to tone, which is a bit hard to describe, but generally, if you're reading an AI essay, it will generally sound very over the top and very artificial. It just doesn't sound, it doesn't feel natural if you compare it to normal human writing. So, if you do actually have a chance to compare works that you've written yourself or works that you know are human written with AI writing, you'll be able to feel the difference when reading. One will sound very over the top, very artificial, very general, while the other will feel more authentic, more personal, more human. Moreover, AI also uses vocabulary in unnatural ways. So what I mean by this is that it uses words that people wouldn't normally use in everyday life in contexts that don't really make sense, or in contexts where the words aren't normally used in. Now these are also words that tend to turn up over and over again in AI written essays. So some examples of unnatural words I've seen turn up over and over again in weird contexts in AI written essays are tapestry, illuminate, robust, And so although these words may have use in certain contexts, AI tends to use them in weird ways. And what I encourage you to do is try generating different AI essays and just have a look at some of the unnatural repeated vocabulary that constantly turn up in these essays. Punctuation is also another very major giveaway of when an essay has been written by AI, and there are some punctuation marks that, if constantly repeated in an essay, are a very, very good indicator of quickly telling when an essay has been AI written. The first of which is the M dash, which is seen so often in AI writing and not so often in human writing. So AI writing often uses a pair of M dashes in place of commas to indicate items within a list. So for example, this is an AI written sentence. I am less concerned with rules as I am with choices. Eligibility, policy, standards, timelines, feedback. That turn feedback into action. These M dashes are also often used to add on a phrase at the end of a sentence. I often felt like I was trapped, doomed to be here forever. One or two M dashes in an essay might be okay, but when they appear in a sentence, like in the first example, or repeated throughout the essay, it's almost always AI. Another punctuation mark that AI also loves to use incorrectly is the colon. I don't know why, but in AI writing, there often tends to be many sentences with colons. And I will say that, to be honest, in personal statements, you will probably almost never need to use, or you should almost never use a colon in your personal statement. Maybe one, if used correctly, is okay, but AI loves to put colons in the middle of random sentences. So for example, this program offers exactly what I need. Colon, the frameworks, tools, and global perspectives that will transform scattered experiences into a coherent trajectory. Again, you don't need a colon here. You could just simply use a comma or do words like, this program offers exactly what I need, including the frameworks, da 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 da. You shouldn't be using a colon in your essay, but they are very good indicators of when AI has been used. Similarly, AI writing also likes to incorrectly use semicolons. Semicolons can be used in essay writing to connect closely related independent clauses, but AI thus loves using semicolons randomly in lists and to randomly connect sentences and clauses that aren't related. So for example, AI will write something like this. In my ventures, I relied on algorithmic computation, semicolon. During my postgraduate studies, I'll learn to transform raw data into robust predictive models that inform real strategy. Again, this semicolon is used incorrectly and would be better replaced with a full stop. And there you have it. Some very characteristic features of AI writing that, if you see in combination or repetitively, will be a very good indicator of AI written essays. However, I do want to note that this is not a complete list, and I encourage you all to experiment yourself with AI to try and see the similarities across AI generated works. However, more importantly, I hope that this video has shown you the importance of writing personal statements and essays yourself. AI is just a tool and just the helper. It should not be writing your essays for you. And I'm not sure about in the future, but for now, the best writer is you yourself, not AI. If you'd like help with detecting or rewriting an AI written essay or just a normal personal statement, feel free to contact us or type AI in the comments. We'll get in touch with you very soon. Good luck to all students writing the essays and personal statements, and make sure they're written by you. I'll see you in the next video.